Hi, today we want to talk about chapter 8 of problem solving with C++, 10th edition with Walter Savitch. So I'm going to go over the first section, which is the C string. I broke this down to multiple parts. So I'm going to be covering the first part right now, and then I'll go to the next part and so on. So when we're talking about array type of a string. So while back when I was coding long time ago, we did not have classes for a string. The C language by itself doesn't have the class string. C language does not have object-oriented programming. So we had to use this for our string. So if there is still some engineering, electrical engineers or computer engineers that they need the C language, this is the way we were doing the string in C language. It is a little, little work. So I don't want to use it till I really have to. Because it's part of this class, we're going to go over it. I'm not going to emphasize on it too much, but of course you have to know it for your test. So the idea of the C string is just an array of character that ends with \0, which indicates a null character. So the null character indicates that this is a C string and it's going to end at \0. So remember in chapter 6, we were talking about the file names over there, that we were saying that we're going to define it as a character, and we put the square bracket, but we haven't talked about arrays yet. So if we define an array of 18 characters, then we can initialize our file name in there. That's what we did for chapter 6. So the file name would go in there, and then of course it's going to fill up to 11. That's 12 characters for my file name. And then it's going to put a \0, the null character in there. So now this becomes a C string. It's a typical array of character, except an additional \0 in there. So you have seen this in chapter 6, but again, we're going to put the data type, the name of the array, and the number in there. But we have to be aware and keep track of the null character. That's one of the reasons that I don't like C string that much. So if I have my array of size 10, I need an additional 1 character for my null character. So I have to keep track of it. I have to be sure it's there. I have to be sure I'm not going to write on top of it. So those are some bookkeeping that we have to do. So one of the things that's going to happen is if I send an C string to a function and I'm just going to read it or write it, I don't need the size for it. So I can have potentially this one as a C string, which ending with, let me put this one in here, a null character over here. I have a space over here, and I have other characters in here, and then the null character is going to terminate. It is our job as a developer to keep track of this null character. C++ does not do it. Also, if you remember from the array part, C++ does not keeping track of the end of the array. So if we are not careful, we can potentially write on this or even go outside of the array. So there is 2 things we have to keep our eye on. One is to be sure we are not going to write on this \0 null character, and be sure that we are not going to fall off the array. Okay. So we're going to put the name of the array, data type, and then we're going to put the size that we want to use, +1 to keep track of our null character. Now, we can initialize it while we are declaring it. I want you to keep in mind that this equal sign only works at the declaration time. After this, you cannot use the equal sign, and we're going to go through that. So in the declaration sign, when we can declare our array of character, we can put it in here. Now, when you pay attention to double quote here, double quote is a string. So a string is automatically going to put one null character at the end of it. So how many characters do we have when we are putting this one in here? So if we, oops, I went too far. Okay, so how many characters am I storing in my system? That's 1 H, 2 I, 3 is a space, 4 is T, 5 is H, 6 is E, 7 is R, 8 is E, 9 is the period, and of course our \0, that's going to be there. So I'm going to go back and forth with the size versus lengths. We're going to talk about that. All right, so we can, remember, if I don't put any number inside the bracket, it's going to pick it up from what I have here. In here, I am putting double quote. Double quote means it's a string. That means what is going to be the size of this short string? What do you think is the size of short string? It's going to be 4. So it's going to be A, B, C, \0. That would be the size of this array. Now, you have been used to using braces. Remember, braces is not going to put the \0 or null character in there. So I will have array of character, but it is not C string. So I cannot use it for C string. So this one is going to have 3 A, B, and C. So the difference between this one and this one is the \0 that I have in here. All right, so it is our job to keep track of this \0, and no matter how long you have worked on these things, it can slip through the cracks. And that's one of the reasons I don't like the C string, because I have to keep track of it. And I have seen so many times that myself and others have written on top of the \0, and then all of a sudden we don't have C string anymore. It's going to be an array of characters. So that, thinking about that can happen if I am looking for \0 or I'm looking for a null character. There is a possibility that somebody wrote on it or myself wrote on it. So if I'm looking for a null character, there is a possibility that's not there. So what's going to happen is going to keep going. So to fix this, one way that we can fix it is to check for the size also. So I am looking for \0, but if I get to the end of my array and I haven't found the \0, I'm not going to go outside of my array. Think about it. C++ does not know where the end of the array is. So if it doesn't find the \0, it's going to keep going. It's going to keep going. It's going to go over the stuff on the memory. It does not stop till you find \0. So we want to put another limit in there for the size to be sure that we are not going to go outside of the array if there is no \0 in there. So I want you to think about this a little bit. So I'm going to stop it right here. want you pause on this slide, go over this, write it down. Maybe we can find some time in our Zoom meeting to go over these things. And if you have any question, post it in discussion question or send me a message so we can go through it. So let's go over these things and then we come back for the next one.